Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this latest instalment from BLS. It's been a while. It's Mr. Braddock here, joined by the ever-present Mr. Beamon.
Hello, fellow simmers, and hello, Will.
I know, it's fantastic, isn't it? I know.
Time is so long.
I know. I'm back, and they can probably tell from what's on my screen that it's an absolute load of madness.
Oh yes.
So, Mr. Beamon, what are we looking at today?
Well, so today, everyone, obviously you've all joined us today, we're going to be looking at something that Will had a big passion for quite some time, and that is his Class 20 reskins for Train Sim World 4. These are all available via the Creators Club, so if anyone is interested, head over to Will Braddock's profile, and you can download all of these lovely Class 20s from his Creators Club account.
I also believe the link to said Creators Club account is on the website, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah.
Fantastic.
It is indeed.
Okay, so
well, if you could just go through some of them and just tell us a little bit about them and
go through some of them. Where the flipping heck do I start? That's the question. You know what? We'll start over here towards the. We'll look at the first reskin I ever made, which was the green 20s.
Kind of appropriate, really, isn't it? Because they were the first ever sort of built 20s in reality. You know, the green was the first livery that they were ever carrying.
D8000 being the pioneer that appeared in said livery. But naturally at the time, I was originally inspired by 20098 at the Great Central to do it.
Yes.
My ever favourite Class 20. First thing to notice, as we go through looking at all of these, you will notice a vast amount of improvement in how I've made these reskins. Because when I made this one, I was still learning the livery design. Is it a livery designer or livery editor?
I think it's a livery designer, isn't it?
Yeah, I was still learning how to use it. And albeit this one's, it's pretty basic. You can still see a few limitations in how I made it. So the logo, as you can see, it's literally just the base outline on it. But yeah.
Yeah, and there's no number on it, is there? You didn't
really the reason
detail.
for that is because originally I wanted it to be something that could spawn in and it wouldn't have duplicate numbers everywhere, because you wouldn't have like 6 20098s on the same route, would you? You just wouldn't have 6 of those full stop.
Yeah.
So I decided to leave them unnumbered so the user could place as many as they wanted down. Well, I say that, these were originally made in TSW 3 days, weren't they? So they couldn't even place them down, but they'd spawn in,
Yeah.
So that was then followed by the half yellow panel one, which I think is probably the most common livery on a 20, apart from BR Blue.
You got D8. If you're going by preservation era now, I think you got D8059, which carries this livery at the moment. And is it D8110 as well carries that livery?
Yes. I've lost my train of thought now, but I believe there is another one.
Anyway, those two are definite.
Yeah. Very nice livery. I think that one is my all-time favourite. I'll say my all-time favourite real livery on a 20, because my all-time favourite livery is completely fictional.
Oh, there we are then.
And moving on, we'll go to that one now.
Oh yes, here it is.
Yes. Someone is going to kill me now, but this is now known amongst the BLS staff as the Ludge machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, bit of backstory behind that. I actually made this fictional reskin. First off, it's my favourite livery, which is chromatic blue, or as people like to say, early blue. It's a very nice livery. I think it pretty much suits everything. It's just there's
Really
just
does
something
sit
about
funny
the
as
blue
well.
half yellow panel with a grey roof. You know, it's basically the green livery over here, but you know, blue.
Blue, yeah.
And
It's also got a it's got a cant line on it as well, so you kind of like aimed this as like a mainline certified locomotive. Then
yes.
I take on this particular
So,
variation.
as you're aware, Mr. Beamon, I like to dabble in my so-called Train Sim World universe, and this is actually one of my TOC's locos.
Ah, very nice.
We'll see another 2 of those later on when we go for a drive down the Midland Main Line. But yeah, so backstory behind this, it's actually named after a BLS member, Mr. Lewis J. Brown, Mr. famous for his Class 37 reskins in TS Classic. You'd also
it's also numbered after my 00 gauge loco,
yes,
isn't it?
that was completely random actually. I literally thought of a random number and that's the one I came up with. I think I've actually got another reskin with the same number on it. I don't know what my attachment is to that, but
Because I actually have the 00 gauge model, the rail freight one,
yeah.
20023, don't I?
Yeah, it's
So that's why I like this one.
yeah.
It's a shame though, because on my end, for some reason, the nameplate, some of the letters are missing, and it's really annoying.
I believe that's a bug with the adaptation from TSW3 Creators Club to the new one. People have had to re-upload them with new text on it because there's a bug with the old version essentially and it doesn't carry over properly.
So is there any chance, like maybe in the future, you might maybe clone this and do a version 2 and put a V2 beside it and
I do very much plan to go through nearly all of them and update them. Basically, the case is I'm going to essentially get you to download them all and tell me what has stuff missing, and I'll prioritise those ones first and get them updated.
Yeah, I know this one's got a fair bit missing on it. Yeah.
But I can update it and I'll get it back out there.
Yeah, so anyone who's watching and is having the same issues with the nameplate bug, as Will has said, it's a Train Sim World thing, so do not fret. It will get resolved.
Yeah. Now, on to probably the most common of all common liveries on a 20, BR Blue. Specifically, this is 20048. In its condition, it is in at the Midland Railway Centre. It's actually at the Sun Valley now, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's at the Sun Valley.
Fair. What's interesting about this is I've noticed that the BR logo is actually much further down the cab side.
Yes, it's actually on the cab side rather than in between the cab and the grills. This is basically the proper early blue livery. So what 20023 is in, that's fictional, but that is what would have been before this one on the right, if it happened.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the early BR Blue locos, even with the 25s, they had the arrows on the cab side, and then they got moved to the centre of the body side later on. I'm not sure why, but that's how it happened.
Isn't it because usually the D numbers were on the body sides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the 25s, the D numbers of the well, just any of the numbers, they've always been in the same place.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
But hey, BR, there's no logic to it.
No, that's true.
So yeah, I also did this one because this was this was the second ever 20 that I ever got behind in my life. Because this used to be a resident at the Great Central.
Oh, I don't know that. I didn't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, so this one used to be permanently paired up with 20098, both of them in green half yellow panel.
Oh, so that's what that other one was.
Yes,
yeah,
it was
20048. I never knew what that one was. Fair.
Yeah. Then it went on to Pastures New. And then it's been at the Midland Railway Centre ever since, and now it's on hire to the Severn Valley.
Excellent.
But I do remember that one being very nice. I would like to see it again at some point. So if we move down the line, this is probably one of your favourites, is it not, Mr. Beamon?
Yeah,
20096.
Yeah, this is one that I kind of grew an attachment for because I started driving it on the West Somerset in the snow, and it was just something about it. I had this really nice photograph. In fact, I'll plonk that photograph up on the screen now for you guys to look at. But I mean, just look at it. It just looks absolutely gorgeous.
Do you know, it's that black band around the windows, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. It looks gorgeous. It is really nice, and I don't know why. It's just something about it, something unique about it. The fact that it has the black windows around and stuff, like you said.
Yeah, you can also see a difference between 096 and 048. With it being mainline, it's got the newer stickers on it, and it's got the cant rail.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have depicted these differences out when I can, and as realistic as possible.
So why is so is this a so I'm guessing that in real life this would have had a high intensity headlight because it's mainline certified?
In real life, and it's still the same, it basically had the middle disc and marker light removed and replaced with a headlight.
Ah, yes.
Unfortunately, when this was made, obviously you had all these limitations. However, with the PC editor being out, I've not looked into it yet, but it could be possible to actually be able to make that through child objecting.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
I'm not sure how editing a model works. DTG have said it's possible, but I'm kind of waiting for documentation on that because it's probably quite complicated.
Well, if anyone is, this is just going a bit off topic quickly. If anyone has actually read the recent post about the Blackpool route on TSW4, which is being done by Just Trains, you'll see that the Northern Transpennine 47 has actually gone through some changes. They have actually added a headlight to it and nameplates and stuff, which have been made by other developers and plonked onto the model. So, like you say, Will, it could be a possibility.
Yeah.
You know, if they could do it, then someone else probably could.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. Maybe something that you could research something into and maybe even have a look at it in the future or something.
Yeah. As I say, I would like to be able to do that. It's just a case of learning some interesting things in the new editor. But hey, if I can do it, I will do it.
Ah, this is interesting. So these look like some working days.
Yes.
BR Blue 20s.
I will actually go to the side where you can actually see the weathering in the sunlight. These two pairs that I've got here, these were designed specifically for use on the Tees Valley line. I basically looked at loads of pictures and deciphered that there was two common occurrences with Class 20s on that route. The first one being the updated BR Blue. So as you can see, it's got old stickers but a cant rail.
Right.
And the arrows are actually on the body side rather than the cab. So these were, I would say, mid-80s, late 80s.
Yeah.
And then before that, we've got the transition period of green going into blue. So what I absolutely loved about BR era is if something needed patching up, you know, they wouldn't completely repaint it. They would literally patch up, say, like this one, a door, if it was in really tatty condition, and then if the rest of it was fine, it would literally get sent out as a BR Green loco with the odd blue door on it. And for uniqueness and detail like that, I love that.
It is interesting. It makes it more exciting, I suppose, for like spotters, especially back in those days. to see something like that, they'd be like, "Oh, that's interesting." You know, because
Yeah.
it's something different. It's exciting.
Yeah,
You know?
it also adds that bit more variation, doesn't it? You know, it adds that feel of the locos being used, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. It's gone through a journey of, oh, it used to be green, but now it's, you know, it's moving forward into the BR blue era, but it's not had chance to be repainted, so you've got the odds and sods of the doors being done.
Well, that was the whole purpose of the whole BR Green Full Yellow N scheme, wasn't it? It wasn't necessarily an actual livery. It was more of something that was in the transitional period, because it became more. What's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. It was it was vital to have more yellow on the front end so it could be more visible to staff,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
And I think that's the whole reason to why the full yellow ends BR Green came to be, because obviously with BR Blue coming in with its full yellow fronts, they were like, well, we need to have full yellow fronts on everything, so instead of painting the entire locos blue, they just shoved a full yellow end on it.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily a proper livery, say, was it? It was more of a late modification to a livery, you know?
Yeah, that's correct. So, I feel like this video is going to be quite extensive if we look at each individual one. So if we look at a couple at a time. So, I'm calling this Fictional Corner because these locos are completely fictional. The liveries that are on them. So, the first one, you literally said, what if a 20 had a maroon livery? And I went, okay, I'll make it and I'll see what you think. And that's where we get the result of what's on the right there.
I love it. Again, it's something that works. It works on the 20, and I think on the cab end as well, it looks very different as well, because it's not like, yeah, look at that. You've
It's
even got the black
band,
window surrounds
yeah.
in that.
It's actually got a black door as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, I love the black door, and I love the lining you've put on it as well. It's gorgeous. You know, I think there should be a TS reskin of that. Someone needs to do a TS reskin of that.
Points at Lewis Brown.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
And
on
you've
the
got
note of that, you'll probably see the chromatic blue one in TS at some point, because Lewis likes the idea of that one.
Oh, good. That would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice. But we've got D8026 next to it as well, which is very similar. The panelling is similar.
Now I did that purely because I love 25.3s in that livery.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? Let's be absolutely bizarre and put it on a 20.
Does it work?
Not really on this end. I'm not a fan of this end, but as you look at the nose end, I can kind of get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting when that loco in particular spawns in on West Somerset, because it's like, oh, this could be, you know, what if it was preserved and somebody or a private owner just decided to plonk it in that livery?
Yeah.
You know?
It might be completely and utterly ridiculous, but you can actually make sense with it sometimes, you know, in certain situations. Yeah. Now, if we move on to... I don't really know what category to put these in, because these two liveries exist, just not on a disc variant of Class 20. Actually, no, the Waterman's did, didn't it?
Yeah, that's not fictional. The Waterman's livery isn't fictional.
The Waterman's one did. It's the London Transport one that didn't exist on a disc 20.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got here. And fun fact, actually, I actually used the Bachmann 00 model for the left one as reference.
Oh, rightio. Yeah.
I noticed that they did a model of it, and I could not find any pictures of the disc one anywhere. I know D8188, the head code box one that was at the Severn Valley, there's loads of that because it ran it in preservation, didn't it?
Yeah.
But I just couldn't find any of the real disc one anywhere.
Yeah, because the disc one was the less common one out of the two, because I know there was two. There was the disc one and the head code box one, but the head code box one seemed to be the more common out of the bunch.
Yeah.
Was it's 20042, isn't it? The disc one,
Yes.
I believe. Is that D8110? I think it is, isn't it?
D8110 is actually 2110, I think.
Oh, okay. I'm getting confused then. Obviously not. Now, where is 20042 now? Does anyone actually know?
I'm not sure. I'm sure someone will be able to provide some info
Okay,
on that.
yeah. Well, if anyone knows in the comments, let us know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the LT one, I put a random number on it and matched it as much as possible to the real one. So all the overhead wire stickers, they're all in the same place. Numbers, data panel, they're in the same place. Lining's the same. Yellow panel is slightly different to make it as a disc version, but apart from that, it's identical to the real one, apart from the fact it's not on the same variant.
Yeah, and you there was something really complicated that you found really hard about this reskin, wasn't it? And that was the lining and the making of the logo as well, which was very challenging for you, wasn't it?
This took an age.
Yeah. I mean, it's done brilliantly. It actually looks a lot like it.
And I think it was actually these small bits either side of the radiator, they were a bit awkward. But overall, I'm happy with that one. I do, kind of does make me think, imagine a disc one in real life looking like that, because I think it'd be quite good.
To be fair, I think the disc one suits it better because it's an old-fashioned style livery, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it looked better on the disc version.
Yeah, well, the disc versions were the first version of the 20, so it's kind of fitting, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so this also falls in the category of existing in real life, but fictional. Same as the London Transport. So, in reality, this appeared on... Oh, God, what's the number?
2227.
227, that's the one. Once again, Headco box version. So, this is identical to the real one. Apart from the yellow panel on this end is slightly taller just to make it look better, otherwise it'd be cutting through the tops of the discs.
Yeah.
There's the lovely logo on the side.
It's something I've noticed on it as well, though, is you haven't put a number, which is kind of good, because I noticed that there is actually some reskins on the Creators Club where people actually numbered it as 2227. Would be completely inaccurate for this variant, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Because it would have never been a disc version of the 20, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I like it. Again, it's another livery I'd like to see in Train Sim, but probably won't happen. But yeah, I really like it. It's something. I mean, to be fair, there's some people out there who absolutely despise this livery and they think it's absolutely shocking. But I just love it for some reason. I think it's a really nice tribute to the underground because it was done as a tribute, wasn't it? Was it 150 years of underground or something? Wasn't it?
I think so. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And I think it was a fitting tribute to it, and I like it. It's a shame that the livery isn't around anymore, to be honest. I would have preferred if 227 remained in this livery, but it didn't. It's ended up going into the London Transport one like 2142 is now.
Shame, really, because it was nice when the two got paired together. Did they get paired together? I think they did, didn't they?
They did, yeah, but I think 142 was slightly different because that was in a more sort of red, it was a red London Transport livery. It wasn't the Transport.
Oh yeah, it was almost like an inverted version of this one without the blue soul bar, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
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 Right. So 2121. This one actually exists.
Does it still exist though? Because I heard that apparently it's going for scrap.
It's going for scrap, but it still exists at Barrow Hill for now, I believe.
Right.
As far as I'm aware, it's not been taken away yet. But this livery does exist on this loco. I'm not sure if it actually ever moved. or ran.
No, I don't think it did. I think the initial plan was for Harry Needle to do it up into a disc version with a headlight and stuff,
Yeah.
but it just never came to be. It just never came to be, which is sad, to be honest.
It
Very
is.
sad.
It's
There you go.
just sad for any loco really that gets scrapped, isn't it? It's another piece
Yep.
of heritage down the bin, isn't it?
Yep. Fortunately. Hey ho, it's progression, I suppose. But yeah, I do quite like it. It looked quite nice, that livery. And these, okay, now these are interesting, to say the least.
This lovely, is it Chorus? I think it's
Yeah,
Chorus.
I think it's Chorus, isn't it? This is number 81.
This is completely Lewis inspired. Because he wanted to see it.
Yeah, again, it's another one of those liveries that does exist, but just not on a disc version of the 20. It's a
Is it
very
a Y
unique.
pack version?
It's well, you wouldn't even call it that. It's like it has these really weird lights, doesn't it, up near the two windows,
Yeah.
the windows of the cab.
Yeah.
Basically, where them lamp irons are, that's where the lights are located.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Oh, there we go. And then there we can see one of Lewis's favourites, 2901, and its XDRS weathered livery. As seen at the Keighley in Worth Valley, I want to say. I believe it went there for an event.
It went there. Yeah, I believe it went there.
This,
the Barclay ones went there a couple of times as well, didn't
yeah,
they?
and this is an ex-Hunslet Barclay one. Very nice loco.
So each one of these liveries that you created, they all have their unique features, don't they? They all have their differences.
Yeah.
And all the I've noticed all the decals, like the warning flashes and stuff. Are they all custom made by yourself, or?
Yes, they are individual parts that I've made into one object, and then, yeah. Unfortunately, we're still at the point where they're not supplied ready-made, I would have thought they would be, because it's such a common thing, but no. Yeah, have to make those, did make those. They are slightly different dependent on the loco, just because I'm very particular. Yeah.
Alright, next, looks like we've got a Balfour Beatty livery here.
This definitely comes under the category of also being real, just not on this version of 20. Unfortunately, I haven't got it installed, but I also made, the ex-Balfour Beatty blue one with the grey soul bar. BR blue with grey soul bar and grey roof.
Oh yes.
I did make that one, but I haven't got that on my machine, unfortunately.
Well, that's a shame. But
that was the one that followed on from this, and I actually got haulage behind a pair of those at the North Yorkshire Moors not too long ago.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I think that covers our look at these 20s. Is there anything else that you wanted to sort of point out, or?
Well, yeah, I suppose one of the things is obviously I suppose that a few people would be asking is why the 20s? What made you kind of have this obsession of making Class 20 reskins? What is it about the 20 that you love so much?
I remember this at the time. First off, listen to it. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for the real ones. They are my favourite EE loco. Not only the fact, there is literally an endless amount of things that you can do with them. But to me, this is probably the best loco that's drivable in Train Sim World.
Heritage-wise, yeah, Heritage diesel loco.
The 31's really good, but I remember at the time when this came out, this was leaps and bounds above all the others.
Yeah. And also as well, we've got to think that the 31 isn't currently compatible with a livery designer, so that doesn't help its case.
And sad part is DTG got asked about that on a stream, along with the 33, and they've got no plans to add those in. So.
Oh, no. That's gut-wrenching. That's a pain.
I know. Hopefully one day they'll change their mind when everyone goes, can we have this again, please? Can we have this again, please? And they get spammed with people wanting them in the livery editor. But yeah, that won't be happening anytime soon, unfortunately. Yeah, which is a shame.
Yeah. Well, there we are then. So that is your range of all of the reskins apart from the ones that you're going to be driving, and obviously the X-Balfour BT1, which you sadly couldn't place down.
Yes. I think there is a couple of others that I don't have installed, but off the top of my head I can't remember what they are.
Well,
either way, they're on Creators Club.
Yeah, people will see. They're on Creators Club, you know, they'll see the rest. I think we've got enough there to kind of, you know, appeal to the viewers to kind of get interested and want to grab hold of these, because I mean, I recommend anyone watching this to, you know, go and have a look at these and grab hold of them, because there is a lot of details that Will has put in to these reskins that other people may have missed or not done to their reskin. So, you know, it's worth a go at. It's worth taking a look and see what you think. Obviously, there will be issues. The known bugs are obviously the missing letters on some of the nameplates and possibly some of the shed plates as well, but it will get fixed over time.
Listen. The way we can, you know, solve that is if people download it and then report what's missing. I can get it fixed a lot quicker.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah.
Because if I physically can't diagnose that problem, because it'll always be there for me because I'm the creator. But if people test it and let me know, then I can get a fix straight out there. It's no problem at all.
Excellent. Yeah, I think the only one, as far as I know, that works fully with a nameplate attached is the Tinsley one, River Rover, which we'll get to, I'd imagine, in a minute.
Unfortunately, I do not have that one.
Oh no! Oh, is that one of the ones you didn't place down?
Yeah, that was what I was trying to remember.
That's a shame. Oh dear. I'll put a photo up for you guys to look at again, because I have actually got a photo of that one.
To be honest, I think we've got photos of all the ones that I've missed. So I'll send you the screenshots, Sammy. You can put them all on the screen.
Yeah. So there they are, guys.
There they all are in all their glory in action.
Yeah, they're with us in spirit.
Yeah. Right, on that lovely note, shall we have a bit of a drive and
yes,
and have a bit of a TSW chat?
Yeah.
So, this is what we've got for our journey.
Look at this. Now, this is very interesting. This one in particular. Actually, one of them I've never seen before, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. But we've got here a fictional large logo one here, haven't we, Will? Which is something that I think one night you, me, and Lewis were just in a VC, and we were like, "Oh, what fictional 20 liveries can we come up with?" And I think it popped out in my head, and I said, "What about large logo blue?"
Literally similar story to the maroon one, isn't it?
Yeah, it just literally just came in my head, like, oh, what about large logo blue? And I think this was on the same night as the maroon one, funnily enough.
Yeah, because I remember I was going through a load of them in one night because I was literally obsessed.
Yeah, and you ended up naming it, I believe, after your missus, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. SM Herbert.
Yeah.
This is sadly one of the ones that doesn't work properly on the Creators Club at the minute, so this is one of the
so
ones
I
you will
can
have to
fix it.
update.
I'm going to update the text to proper BR font anyway.
Yeah, but one of the really interesting features about this as well is the tortoise, which I love.
Yeah, the little tortoise character. Who needs a Scotty dog when you got a tortoise, you know?
Yeah, I think that was more the fact you couldn't find a Scotty dog, so you was like, you know what, I'm just going to shove
a tortoise. That was literally it. I just went, I'm going to sod it, you know, shove a tortoise on the side, no one will know.
Yeah.
And now that tortoise is a bit of a trademark towards me in the TSW world, so it stays there.
I like it. I think it's cute. So,
And then I like this loco that much it made its way into TS Classic.
well, you put a tortoise on the TS Classic version.
No, not that much. But Lewis made the reskin for me, and I modelled the plates, and I actually put Smidge on a plaque, didn't I? You know, the greyhound.
Oh yeah, the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, I put Smidge on the side.
Dog, yeah.
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 Oh, that was
So
cool.
So we can say that this was pre-Smidge.
Yes. Yeah. Why not? We've just got Terry the tortoise on the side instead.
Terry
the tortoise.
So what do you think about this livery then, Will? What do you think about a large logo 20? Because I personally love it.
Now there is two major things that I really like about this livery. And first thing is the black roof, but the thing about the black roof is it comes halfway down the nose rather than all the way. So it's got that, like, I think it's the Balfour Beauty one, that the roof is, it's, do you know what I'm trying to say?
Slightly more further down to the handrails, yeah?
Yeah. I just love that look of it. And then the other thing that I like is naturally the black surrounds on the windows, but it is basically an imitation of the Rail Freight grey but blue, with a few differences here and there, isn't it?
Yeah, because it also doesn't have the black around the windows on the side of the cabs either.
No.
So that's what makes it slightly unique in that sense as well.
Yeah, I remember saying to Lewis at the time, this is basically a Class 37 imitation on a 20.
Yeah. Pretty much.
And another interesting thing is, I don't think I've ever seen the numbers there on a 20, so I put them there.
Yeah, because I think there was some debate going on, wasn't there, of how we could do the numbers, because one of the ideas we came up with was black numbers on the side of the cab side, wasn't it? With a BR logo, an emblem on the side, a black emblem. But I mean, you looked at that, but it didn't really work very well, did it? It looked a bit
Unfortunately not, yeah.
So it turned out it looked better on that side there, what you've chosen.
Yeah.
So that's what we ended up going with, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm very happy with how it turned out, to be honest.
Yeah, because it also looked very weird having a massive BR logo on the side and then a BR logo on the side of the cab. It just looked a bit overkill, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there we are. That is the large logo 20060.
It's lovely, isn't it? I just love
yeah.
it. I just love it. Right. Now then.
So what's the one after it, Will? Because
this is 20028 under my ownership in the TSW world. So another imitation off of a 37. Obviously 37s had grey roofs and red buffer beams on the large logo livery.
Yeah.
And I wanted to try that on the 20. I've also repositioned the numbers, so the numbers are actually down here. You'll also notice that this end of the cab is blue instead of yellow on that one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So this is basically me experimenting and actually quite liking it.
Is this reskin available, or is it like not available at the moment?
Not yet. It's not actually finished, but it will be. The main reason it's not is because I've not got the tortoise on the top layer yet.
Oh God, look at him.
Yeah, no.
Looks slightly fine.
I'm not sure actually if he's on the other side or not. Yeah, he's fine on this side. So I've literally just got that one little small thing to do, and then it can go out there. There is a second one in this livery as well, which is 20055. The backstory behind those two is they are the Thornaby blue ones that I owned in the TS Classic world that we've got with BLS.
Yeah.
So I've essentially just carried them over into this and re-liveried them.
Actually, now, but before we move, because that's just reminded me. Do you know what's going to happen with the Thornaby 20s? Because I know that you announced them for TS Classic, but nothing really came about with it.
Um, until I lost all my stuff, it was on the cards for me to return to those. But I don't see it happening now, to be honest.
So you don't think that they'll ever be revisited or released now?
Maybe one day. I don't know, really. I'm not sure where I'm at with TS Classic at the minute anyway, so let's put it this way, don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, your primarily focus is on this now, on TSW.
Yeah, and we can talk a bit more about that when we're moving, and and we can discuss that.
Excellent. Yeah.
So, shall we get underway?
Yes, let's get into the cab of T20, which looks very nice indeed in here, to be honest. Again, this is something that I mean, I know I keep going back at it, but again, you know, it's stuff like this that you wish you would see in TS Classic, but it's not happened, has it? You know, seeing the detail on this, and you know, the difference in horns on each end of the locos and stuff, it's something that you wish you could see in the other sim, but it's just not looking likely it will happen, is it really?
Unfortunately, it's not, which is a great shame if you ask me.
Yeah, and I think as well with this kind of moving forward, TSW getting the editors and stuff, I have a feeling that it's going to eventually get to that day where TS Classic will be no more. It will end up suffering the same fate as MSTS did, where times move on and it won't get as played much anymore, you know?
Yeah.
It's quite frightening, to be honest, because I don't yet know how to develop stuff in TSW. In fact, you're the only person within the BLS team who actually knows how to develop in TSW, isn't it?
Well, this is the thing, you see. The thing that people have to remember is that there was once a time where TS Classic was new, and all these tools that came with it, they had to be learnt.
Yeah.
There's a first time for everything, and Train Sim World has come at that point where it's... I've just actually... Yeah, got the BG. Train Sim World has come at that point where it's taken a while for these tools to come out, but there is reasoning behind that, and the way that they have done that, it now means that people can literally get to the point of making brand new content from scratch and then having the ability to earn money off it by going through DTG.
That's something that TS Classic didn't really have, isn't it, I suppose, in a sense.
And what's, from my experience, as you know, I've been doing a lot in the editor recently.
Yeah.
From my experience with it, the way it goes into really in-depth detail, I mean, for God's sake, you can literally pick where your track joints go. You can really go into the really silly details of everything.
Yeah, didn't you say something about like that a lot of audio is off of the track itself and not on the actual locos?
Yeah, I mean,
Does it work? Yeah.
I mean, the way flanges and stuff works in this game, it's completely independent, so it's its own kind of entity, as it were.
So it's its own entity and more of its like own thing rather than just a sound on a specific locomotive or rolling stock.
Yeah, it takes into consideration all the variables of the track. It takes into consideration the transitions between gradients and super elevation, and basically it does a load of calculations which TS Classic just can't do because of the game engine.
Yeah. So this thing has a lot of plus points.
Yeah.
means of editing.
I
And
mean,
stuff,
if we go back to where you said about this essentially being the TS Classic killer, I don't think we'll see that for a while, purely based on the fact that, yes, we've got the graphics now down, we've now got an editor, but to me, the audio side of it and the physics on some things is still quite debatable and doesn't touch TS Classic. The Steam locos is a big point to that because they don't have Steam chess simulation.
No, and I don't think that they ever will, because the main problem with that is because of the fact that the game is console based. So unless a developer is making a piece of content that is solely for the PC, it's never going to happen, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It depends on the developer, whoever is developing the model or DLC, whether they want it to be released on both PC or console or one platform. And this is something that was discussed between us in a VC, wasn't it, Will?
Yes.
That,
yes.
you know, you would like to develop stuff for TSW that can only be played on solely PC.
Yeah.
Purely because you can then put more detail into whatever you're releasing.
And this is my issue with TSW, and this is why I feel like we're always going to have limits. I feel there's going to be a point where DTG will have to basically say, look, the consoles are holding this back, you know, essentially stop them. Because let's face it, could you imagine TS Classic on a console?
It wouldn't happen. It just never worked.
Literally, you'd have endless crashes on a console if you tried TS Classic. And unfortunately, until they do that, we are always going to have limitations.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's some people out there who absolutely love this game on console, and I understand that some of you guys can't pay for a really high-spec PC because I know it's very expensive.
They are.
But the trouble is, and what some people fail to understand is, simulation games are not designed for console, and this is something that I never used to really understand when I was younger, but I've started to understand it more now that I'm older, because when I was a kid I always thought, oh, I wish we could have a train simulator on my PlayStation,
Yeah.
or on my Xbox or something, but that never happened. It never happened throughout all that time I had a console. It never happened until I went on the PC and found that there was simulators.
Yeah.
But this is the issue, is they are designed for PCs. Yes, DTG have somehow managed to get Train Sim World on console, which, to be honest with you, I give them massive credit for, because it must have been really hard work to do that. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's still not going to be as it should be. It's still going to have limitations no matter what they do, or no matter what anyone does. Really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I must admit, I do quite like a Train Sim World as a subject to talk about, because there is a lot of stuff to talk about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, there is a lot of unanswered questions with this game. You know, what's going to come next? When is multiplayer going to happen? You know, there is loads of stuff that is currently unanswered. And, well, I mean, multiplayer will happen. I'm doubtful with that. But then again, a lot of people said, editor, will it happen? I'm doubtful to that. You know, there's been a lot of doubts towards this editor, and it has actually happened.
Well, this is the thing, you see. DTG, they're going to say no because they don't want people to get their hopes up. But because they say no, people need to understand that that doesn't stop them working on things in the background.
Yeah.
That TSW, the editor, as it is now, it's taken a lot of work to get that. And the reason it was such a shock to us is because DTG came out and said it wasn't happening, don't get your hopes up.
Yeah.
Because they didn't promise it and they delivered.
Yeah.
It was a nice surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there a little bit, Will, because I think one of the mistakes that they did make, especially when starting TSW and bringing it out, was they said a load of stuff, like promised us a load of things that have not came to be. Like they said that multiplayer was going to be one of the biggest things about this game, but it's never been delivered.
Yeah.
You know, throughout all these years that it's been released. Same with the editor. It's taken this long to get it out. And I think that's one of the big mistakes that DCG made, was making all these promises and telling us that this, that, and the other was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it ended up not happening. And it infuriates some people. And to be honest, in some cases, I think it has put people off of the game. And that's why a few people don't play it.
Yeah.
Because they've been promised stuff that isn't happening, so they're not going to pick it up and buy it, are they?
No.
You know?
The way I see it is, TSW in its current state, it is very much for people that want the casual train driving experience and the ability to be creative. As I said, and I remember talking to you about this when TSW4 released, the ability to have free roam in this now is an absolute game changer.
Yes, I agree. And as people saw from one of our videos, because I did a video on spawning a loco in timetable mode on the East Coast Main Line.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a hit. That was an instant hit.
Yes.
You know, and obviously, honestly, I thank everyone who watched that video and everyone who supported that video. But that really did kick off, and a lot of people watched it and were amazed by it.
Yeah.
You know, because I was amazed. I'd say I had early access of Train Sim World, was not expecting it at all. In fact, it was you, Will, who actually told me about it, and I thought, nah, surely that's not a thing. And I went into the timetable mode and I thought, oh crap, actually it is a thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a video on this and show everybody.
Yeah.
And it shocked everybody. It shocked the entire Train Sim community, because everyone has wanted that feature. Everyone has wanted to be able to spawn a train in timetable mode, and you know, it's something that DTG have answered and given, which is good.
I know, and the next part of the jigsaw is coming out in an update at some point soon, which is a formation designer to go with the scenario planner and livery editor. So you'll be able to create your own consists and spawn those in, rather than having to spawn in existing ones and then deleting certain things.
Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, because that's a bit of a pain, isn't it? Where you have to, like, to make a consist, you have to spawn in a consist with a train on it, delete the train, to then spawn another train in to couple it up.
Yeah, it's like when I set this up for the stream, I spawned in a 47 with the coaches on, and then I had to spawn, get rid of the 47 and spawn these two 20s in separately.
Yeah, which they are looking really nice right now, aren't they, on this? The lighting has improved, I've noticed, with this game slightly as well.
Yeah, it's the it's called TOD 4. It's the new weather system. Majorly overhauled. And something interesting about the time of day system I've realised whilst messing about the editor is you can actually change the way the environment reacts based on route properties.
Alright.
So as like a base route setting, you've got the bloom intensity and sunlight intensity and stuff as a property for the route, which I think is pretty cool. So for example, if you thought this looked too saturated, you could actually make your route from scratch and adjust that right away, and you can adjust it later on. So you can actually adjust it to look how you want it to look. Yeah, there's so much flexibility with it.
So the route building capabilities is actually really good and far superior to something
I
that
mean,
was done
have
previously.
you've seen what I've managed to create, haven't you?
Oh god, yes. Yes, so I'm not going to go into too much detail for anyone who's watching because it's a surprise. It's something
Yeah.
that will eventually come out, but we're not gonna say anything, are we? Will?
No, no.
It's completely under the radar, but put it this way, Will is working on something. That's all you guys need to know. The weapon of mass destruction, you call it, don't you?
Well, that was my original route for TS Classic, but this is the TSW equivalent.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited to see it. I'm really excited to see it. Yeah, and if it all goes down well, it's going to be something that you want to.
Do you know? I'm not sure whether you'd be up for it, Sam. But I was thinking of potentially doing a live stream on the BLS channel, potentially going through the editor and maybe sharing some skills.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, that would be good. Obviously, you know, you're fully welcome to make any video on the BLS channel, obviously, because being one of the founders of BLS, you can do anything you like.
Because if there's one thing that I have learnt about using the editor is, I have been aided a lot because I got a qualification using Unreal Engine. And I've been able to figure it out based off what I know already. Now, I know DTG have done some streams, well, I think it's actually only 2 streams so far, where they've gone through the basics of track laying and stuff. Yeah. But I feel like, you know, there's potentially a gap there for me to basically show off some bits and pieces which could really benefit people.
Yeah.
Because since that editor came out, I've been learning it non-stop.
Yeah, because you're really interested and really want to start making some TSW releases, don't you, or something that's going to blow minds in a sense.
Yeah, I've literally said it all along. Give me an editor for this, and I will create stuff. Yeah, that's very much what I'm doing.
Yeah, and that's also another thing is why you've kind of moved across from TS Classic, because the Unreal Editor is like your passion, isn't it? It's something that...
I mean, the Unreal Editor it's what I know. It's not like TS Classic where I've had to essentially ask all these other people for help and learn it from the ground up. I actually was able to go into this off of stuff that I'd have learnt.
Yeah. And that kind of gives you a bit of a head start for other developers or other people who are trying to learn how to use
it does.
The software, isn't it? Yeah.
It does. I won't lie to you. Once you know where everything is, it is actually really easy. It's just that initial step, overcoming the... It's almost like a shock at how many tools and things there are. But once you get down what you need the most of and where you can find things, it's actually pretty much the same as TS Classic, just a lot more detailed.
Well, we need a BLS classroom session with you tutoring us on how to use it.
And the thing is, I've not just used it to build a route. I've used it and I've created a timetable through it. I've been able to create service mode through it, create scenarios through it.
It can do everything pretty much.
Yeah.
So it has flexibility. That's always good to know, and that's good to know for anyone who's watching. You know, try out the TSW editor.
Yeah,
see what you've got to think. You know. Yeah. It's,
I know.
Where is it available from? Because I know it's not available through Steam, is it?
Epic Games.
Games,
because that's where the official Unreal Engine editor is. The licensing it got put through there. So if you go on Epic Games and type in TSW editor, I think it's actually TSW PC editor, and you can download it for free. And when you launch it first time, don't be alarmed if it takes absolutely ages. It'll just do a scan of all your content, so you can load that all into the editor as well.
Yeah, and the use of content, how does that work? Because I know that DTG stated that you can't necessarily, you can't release any route or item as payware with DTG items unless it goes through DTG. Is it something along those lines?
Yes. So
Yeah.
it's literally pretty much the same as TS Classic, really. So if you want to make a freeware route using existing assets, you go for it. Fill your heart until your heart's content. You know, you can distribute that however you like. If you want to create a payware product, you literally have to either make everything, or you go through DTG to get the license to the stuff that you've used.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. And then it essentially gets sold through them in a way, then, doesn't it? And then they would get
from what I hear, you can either go through them to get licensing to existing stuff as like a partner, or you can actually sell it literally through DTG.
Excellent. Yeah, so again, it's just another interesting thing and something that has been made up by DTG to give people and third-party developers who are really passionate about developing stuff for train simulators. It gives them the option to build something and get some income from it, you know, instead of it just being something that's freeware and putting a load of effort into something that's really, you know, which is only freeware. You know, this opens up the opportunity for people to start actually getting paid to do what they love.
Yeah.
You know, and that's quite amazing. But obviously, you've just got to learn it. You've just got to learn the editor. It's not an easy road, but you know, if you've got that knowledge and you know how to use the Unreal editor, then you're sorted.
Yeah.
You know.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. Providing DTG allow and give you the licensing, isn't it? You know, because you've got to go through all the licensing stuff. But it's obviously providing that they're okay with it. So it's got to be good. It can't be rubbish, can it?
Exactly.
You know, it's got to be good.
It's got to be top quality.
It's got to be top quality if you're going to be looking down that road. So the best way to start off with is to do a freeware route or something freeware, and then work your way up.
What I did when I first got hold of the editor, don't make anything specific, just make something really simple. So when I did it, I made a literal test track. I just placed a load of track down, learned how to do junctions, and then I was away. I didn't mess about with any gradients or anything like that. I just made a flat depot looking style test track.
Basically like starting off with like a shunting plank in a sense.
Yes.
Right? You know, like a TMD or something.
Yeah. Just mess about with it and don't take it too seriously when you learn it, because otherwise it's probably quite easy to get disheartened by it if you don't pick it up straight away. Just be patient. That's the key with it, I think.
That's some advice to me as well. And I take it if I was to get involved in it, I would. The best advice you could give to me was to start off route building just a route like that isn't going to be released or anything, but just a simple shunting plank or something.
Yeah.
And then once I've got the hang of it, then look into releasable content, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, listen to that. I'll tell you what, there's something about that distinctive thump. It's very nice on that 20.
It is good.
You did a review on the 20, didn't you? It didn't come out very well.
Unfortunately, my OBS was a bit rubbish at the time, but yeah.
But so, and your thoughts on it were pretty good, weren't they, at the start? I mean, to be fair, one of the things that we did say about it that really irritated us was the fact that the nose end horn was actually a cab end horn recording, because obviously the nose end has a slightly different horn, well, a very
Yes.
different horn to the cab end. But then we actually found out that the horn changes dependent on when you spawn in.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be a nose recording, and sometimes it can be a cab recording.
I did actually find out that, you know, I think I've actually got it on this one. You know that?
Yeah.
That actually is a nose end recording.
Okay.
So, long story short, I know the driver that was on our 20 when they went to record it, and he had, and the horn valve was playing up, and that was the result of it.
Oh, okay.
So it is a nose end horn, just a very broken one.
Yeah.
And then he fettled with it, and then that's what you get with the proper one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because it's that I love it. It's that really slow.
It's a long groany horn, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's
Yes, that's going to be made into a meme. The noise you've just made there.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. I must admit, I would be quite excited if my O gauge one got sound, but obviously it's not the best of conditions. I mean,
I'll blame your eyesight for that one. That was just a dodgy purchase, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to sell it. I put it up for sale for about 350 quid, but no one was interested, so looks like I'm keeping it now. And you know what? If I have to keep it, then so be it. I'll just have to do it up and restore it and, you know...
Send it to me. If you get the parts, I'll get it into good condition for you.
Yeah, send it to you. The main issues with it, obviously, is being some of the detail parts are missing, but it's a runner and everything else is all there, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just missing some of the vital detail parts, that's all, isn't it?
You can get spares.
Yeah. Which is why I'm shocked that no one bought it, because all it really is just some detail parts missing.
Yeah.
But it could also be the fact that maybe people don't particularly like the livery because it's BR plain green, you know, it's not
no one.
that...
I've noticed in O gauge, early BR green is very rare to find someone that actually models it.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing that it was a limited edition of Tower models. That's why it's the, you know, plain green. It was a Tower Models limited edition.
Yeah.
But it has had modifications because the bogie frames are actually different to the one that was on the original model.
Okay.
So they've swapped out the plastic frames with different ones. Because originally it had yellow Timken bearing caps, which is wrong for the plain green variant. But you can clearly see that they've swapped it out for a different set. It hasn't been painted over, but because it's a different moulding, but they've swapped it out for a set of another 20. So that's kind of bizarre as well. But yeah, but it was a limited run. It was, you know, and that's why it kind of shocks me that no one was interested in buying it, because it was originally a limited edition. But hey ho, there you go. Maybe when I get it running, stick a BLS headboard on it, you know, that would be cool. Yeah. But that's a long way off yet. Long way off until I get that 20 running. But again, you know, I do like a class 20.
As I say, they're my favourite EE loco. Everyone goes for the 37 or a Deltic, but I go for the 20 every time over the pair of those. I'm a Sulzer man at heart, but I'm impartial to a 20.
Yeah, I'm a Sulzer man as well, you know me.
Yeah, you just like the rubbish Sulzers, don't you, really?
No, 33s, my lord, it's a hellfire machine.
If you say so.
And don't forget I do like a 25 as well.
Oh, I mean, that's rateable.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, we need one.
Yeah.
We need one.
Yeah. Don't know where one of those could come from.
No. So, back to TSW, the Midland Mainline route. This is something that we've this is the first time we've actually featured this on the channel. Do, what do you think of the route? Is it impressive to you?
There are key things that are just not there with it. The attention to detail. So, bridges along the route, they've basically made like 2 or 3 models of bridges to use across the entire route rather than, you know, modelling the appropriate ones, which for someone that knows the line well, it doesn't really impress me. Barring details like that, I do enjoy it. I do like the modified HST that comes with it, and I absolutely love the 158.
I think we kind of know the reasons to why that is, because it's actually one of the best sounding units in the entire game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's been used. It's using AP sounds, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. It also has the proper simulation for the. Is it the camshafts on it? I don't know. I'm not a unit man.
No.
I'm sure someone will be able to tell me what it is, but it's got the proper simulation physics as well for that specific type of unit, like the way it operates, which is cool.
Yeah, Midland Main Line is yet one I need to get, but there is one thing that I did notice that really kind of put me off about it, was one of the photos of Loughborough where they haven't modelled the
I was about to mention that. I'm still when it was on TSW3, there was a mod you could get and it'd fix all these issues. It's not been updated yet to TSW4, so if you're watching this and you made that mod, please update it.
Yeah. Because
that would make this. It honestly made it fantastic. It corrected so many issues, and it made the landmarks like the Brush Factory actually proper as well.
Because I guess I can kind of understand why DTG didn't put the brush sign on. It was due to licensing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I think that's a very key feature, and if you're gonna make a route like this, you need to kind of go into the effort to trying to get that license in at the very least.
Yeah.
You know?
And we're going into Derby Platform 5.
So this is Derby. So basically the route runs from Leicester to Derby, does it?
Yes, Leicester to Derby and Leicester to Nottingham and Derby to Nottingham. Honestly, I wish they'd have included Sheffield as well, but, yeah. It's one of them, innit, really. I also wish it was made by Just Trains rather than Rivet, because obviously they did the TS Classic version and that one is stunning.
So is this... So this isn't actually a DTG route, it's made by
No, it's made by Rivet Games, yeah, so the guys that did the West Cornwall local route, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I actually thought it was DTG.
No,
there we go, learn something new every day.
It's
so
released.
Port of call here at Derby? Or?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But yeah, it's released. So you're saying it's released?
It was Rivet that made it, but it was released through DTG as what they call their partner program.
So yeah,
just like Just Trains are releasing the Blackpool route, which I'm really excited for through DTG.
And that's what they're doing with the whole editor stuff as well. That partner program.
Yes.
That's why.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense. Yeah, because one of the things I did notice when TSW was first released was DTG actually said that they were not going to involve third-party developers within the game.
I know, yeah.
But it's only just recently that they've started to come up with this partner program, as it were, that involves other developers, which, to be honest, I think that's probably one of the best decisions that they've ever made, because, you know, involving other developers and collaborating with projects will really make this game kick off more.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They want the game to, you know, get bigger. They want it to have a more bigger player base.
Oh yeah, 100%.
With them getting other companies involved, like Armstrong Powerhouse and like Rivet Games and JT, it's gonna really make it kick off, and I think it's brilliant that they're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so I think we've reached the end of our journey for this evening with the TSW4 video.
Yep.
I hope everyone who has watched this has enjoyed Will's in-depth look at all his Class 20 reskins. Once again, if you are interested in downloading any of the BLS Class 20 reskins, they are all on Will Braddock's Creators Club account, which you can view through the website in our TSW content area.
And if you would like me to go through some TSW editor, let me know.
Yes, let us know in the comments if you'd like Will to do some TSW editor
or
videos.
In general, if you want some TSW content, you want to see something, drop us a comment and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, there we are then. So, it's a goodbye from me, Samuel Beamon at BLS, and it's a goodbye from Will Braddock.
Goodbye, everyone.